Eileo guys, and welcome back to another account review. In today's video we have Tomas's account. I definitely hope I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, well, that's not the first time, that's not going to be the last time. But without further ado boys, let's go ahead and get this party started. Alright, so Tomas, I've already went through your mon box right before this video, as I traditionally do with lower level accounts, and it seems like your gem stuff is perfectly fine, so I don't have too much complaints with that. It seems to me like your gems that you're using, they're what they should be, is just that they're 3 stars, which hints towards golems being a problem, which at this point in time, you're level 39. That's no surprise there. So let's go ahead and pick out some golem teams for you first. Alright, so for B7 here, what Gilgamesh's skills? Oh, Predator and Persevere, whatever. You can just use him right now as a placeholder. She should be perfectly fine as well. Like Banshee. See if you have any other wood mons. Zubaji could work there, but not necessary. Wood Miho could definitely work there as well. And let's see if there's anything else. Not really. I did see a Squirrus. In my opinion, I don't think you need a healer as long as your mons are geared up nicely. But if they aren't geared up nicely, then feel free to throw in your Water Siren as a healer. Just take in mind that she will slow you down. You can use Kiki here as well. She's a pseudo wave clearer, not really used for wave clearing due to her 3-star skill, but her 5-star skill is pretty good if she can get it off. But you're already going to have plenty of CC and defense down action because of Miho in there, and then you also have your Wood Banshee with some. And let's see who else. What is Yax's skill? Sleep and crit. You could. It looks like she's Evo 2 and 60. So if you're not using her, then go for it. Other than that, there's really not too much to choose from, in my opinion. So I mean, for right now, I would just work on getting your Banshee up to Evo 3 in the future. Definitely raise up your Miho and use her here, and then the 4th mon can just be whatever that you want to use, to be honest. If you want to throw in Yaksha, even though she has sleep, she does get the elemental advantage, so I don't see much of an issue with that. There doesn't seem to be much else I can choose from. You could run Light Leo in here, even though he's just for CCing. Like, his pure selling point is stunning, so I'm not sure how much that would help you. I guess if you wanted to, you could do Light Yuki as well, as long as she's able to uphold everything. What's Jiangxi? No, Jiangxi's useless. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of wood teams. But 3 out of 4 isn't bad, and you may get lucky. And oh, you got a Mowgli over here, boy? My boy. And she has a square slot? We're done here. We're done here. Take out Yaksha. If you get Mowgli variant, just run Mowgli as lead and take in these mons right here. Congratulations, dude. B7 is over. B7 is over. You can actually throw in Kokomaru as well in the event that you somehow feed your Gilgamesh, because you might get a better one in the future. But for now, this team works. Get Mowgli up as soon as you can, and Banshee doesn't need to be Evo 3 like ASAP, because you do have Mowgli and Miho and a Nat 5, so this pretty much should work for your B7 team. Take into account that you can use these for dragons too. You may need to tweak it a little bit and take out one of these mons and put in a healer like Wood Hana, or preferably some type of healer that can do attack up like Baby Shark that's coming pretty soon. But other than that, you should be solid, especially for low level dragons, as long as your mons are gemmed up properly after running these dungeons. But let's go ahead and move on to B8. Alright, so for B8, looks like you're running 2 Monas, a Dark Kiki, and a Water Siren. I noticed that both of your Monas are pretty much on a bruiser set, so if this is the only place that you use them at, I would honestly just make them triple attack. Like, they're not going to die here. At level 60, Evo 3, make sure they're booked up and put them on triple attack if this is the only place you use them at. If you use them in any other assets of the game, or any other areas of the game, should I say, feel free to keep them how you have them, but if they're predominantly only used in B8, triple attack, call it a day. Kiki can go. She works, but once again, she's not optimal. She can go. Water Siren, you shouldn't need a healer with 2 Evo 3 level 60 Monas. You can throw in Valk. Now, I think we talked and you're thinking about getting rid of your Water Valk. That's perfectly understandable if there's another Valk you want to go towards, like Fire Valk, but we'll talk about that later on in the video. But for the purpose of this video, I would just use her while you have her. I mean, there's no point in not using her while you have her. And then you could bring in Water Sir here as well. Obviously, he's just there to stun, so it's not really optimal. but it's just something to fill the slot in, and you can actually run his crit lead if you want. If not, you can feel free to bring in Wet Miho. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I mean, you could bring in Wet Miho. Sap's not really important here. You just want raw damage and 2 Monas. And your Valk for now should cover it. And 2 Monas and whatever that you want to use cover it. So feel free to just take some Mons and go take them for a test run and see what your time is. And see how low of a time that you can get. Even with a Mon like maybe Light Leo. Yuki I did recommend in B7, but since you have Mowgli, it doesn't really matter. And Yuki's animation is slow, so it's not optimal, but it would work. Other than that, there's no water mons right off the top of my head that I can see in your box that I would recommend, other than a water Mowgli. But I would focus on wood first, because your water team, 2 Monas, is pretty much good to go. In terms of dragons, once again, guys, I do have dragon videos, so feel free to check those out. You can run 2 Monas and dragons without a doubt. Valk you can of course run, and maybe bring in someone that can either debuff on their first skill or another healer. So you could bring in Water Simon for dragons if you need help. What's Minicat skills? Minicat could work as well as long as it was Evo 3 and gym properly, but I think Water Siren would be perfectly fine in terms of investments. And you could even bring in Water Lat as a debuffer, but I'm not a big fan of Water Lat. You can also run Water Sura. Let's say this is your Dragons team. You could run Water Sura, 2 Monas, and maybe a healer. Or you could run Water Sura and just 3 DPS for Dragons and give that a shot. Now this is all for lower level Dragons. You can use teams like this in higher level Dragons, but you need the gym quality first. And after you have that, you can run in there 3-4 DPS and see how it does for you. But I would, at least in all of the dragons, at least bring 1 CC'er, regardless of whatever element that you have, just to have CC, because some of those mons can hit very, very hard, and you don't want that, my boy. You don't want that. But let's move on to B9. Alright, so for your B9 team, obviously it's just an easy choice. Fire Valk, just CC. Not too much damage here from her, but you know, she is the correct typing. You could run Fire Shiva as well, even though I don't believe he's there for damage, is he? No, he's a defender. So it might be overkill in terms of CC right there, already with Arthur and Valk. So you could bring in your Fire Vamp, and if you want to run Fire Bolt Wing, even though I don't like Bolt Wing, you can use it. Nothing wrong with that, but honestly, I would throw in Leo. I would throw in Leo over Bolt Wing. I mean, that's just how it is. Both of those are Evo 2. I would throw in Leo. And congratulations, your B9 team is done, my boy. It's done. Same thing for dragons. Since you are a big fan of Fire Valk, you already have a CC'er for dragons. If you can get Vamp up to 60, and of course get him to Evo 3 with some good gems, the same thing for Leo. You now have 2 DPS and a CC'er for dragons. And it's up to you for your 4th Mon if you want to run like Fire Cupid in dragons, or maybe go for another DPS. But once again, if you don't have enough DPS or enough CC to safely get through those stages without any revives, then I would 10 out of 10 recommend a Fire Cupid to go along with this squad for dragons. So take out Arthur, and congratulations, that's your dragons team. And once again, you can just throw in Arthur for now, and this could be a solid B9 team. If not, you can feel free to test stuff out and find out what works for you. But let's move on to B10. Alright, so for B10, I did see your Nike here, which is fine and dandy. Nothing wrong with that. Looks like you have 2 Wet Mihos as well. And Fire Valk could be used here as a, not so much a wave clearer, but as a CC'er in terms of damage. And then you also have Miho. You could run 2 Water Mihos and put a lot of pressure on your Valk, but she's not there to wave clear, which may end up being a bit of an issue for you. Because you do have like Light Leo and Light Yuki, but the problem is if you run like 1 Lightmon, you're in for a bad time. It looks like you have a Fire Sea Star as well, so you can actually use her in B9 if you want. But yeah, it's slim pickings for this type of team right here. Dark Kiki might be a better choice as a wave clearer, because Valk can CC, but Dark Kiki might have more DPS. And in this case, I would just bring in a healer, even if it's Water Siren. I would prefer Water Purse, because her heals are on her 3-star skill. But a team like this is just to get you into the ranks is perfectly fine. You have a tank, you have a wave clearer, you have a sapper, and you have Siren. Now, once you get to the point where you don't need heals, feel free to drop her out. I would throw in another Miho, or unless you pull like a Artemis, a water Artemis, or a fire Persephone, then you can throw those in there. If not, you can even use Water Yuki if you want, even though I'm not a fan of her animation. And of course, if that's not an issue either, eventually you'll graduate and don't have to use Light Nike either. And if you get lucky, you don't have to freaking use Dark Kiki either. And hopefully have like a Draka here and maybe 3 sappers, or Draka here with your Fire Valk and 2 sappers. That works perfectly fine as well. Nothing wrong with Valk, Draka, and 2 sappers. Nothing wrong with that at all. So you do have potential B10 lineups. It's just a matter of raising those mons up and getting key mons to help you out with B10. And obviously if you get a Draka, you can pretty much just ignore your Victoria for now. I would still raise her up to Evo 3 and get her into Nike, because she's still usable, especially in PvP. But that's pretty much it for your teams. I don't really see much of a problem here. Maybe B10, but with some proper gemming and some proper investments in mons, you shouldn't have too much of an issue in terms of golems, at least at the level that we have now. The same thing applies for dragons. The later on dragons, I didn't really see that many nukers for you, but let's go over here and take a look at your mon box real quick so we can go more in depth with your other questions. So one of the questions that you asked me is, should you pull for Draka? Well, let's go ahead and count nat 5s. This is a very, very easy question to ask and answer, because it all depends on your nat 5s and of course money, but nat 5s more than anything since you're able to run B8. So roughly you can do about 5 pulls. Now, depending on the mons that you're willing to sacrifice, I would actually recommend for you to try for a Fire Draka in this case, because at the very, very minimum you can get 4. So I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm saying there's a chance for you to get a Fire Draka, and if you can pull 4 of them, like I tell people all the time, I'd rather you pull for all 4 so you can get Fire Draka to Evo 3 than for you to pull once and get like Wood Draka and that's it. So in this case, I would recommend for you pulling Fire Draka, because not only would he help you out in PvE, he can also help you out in PvP, just as you stated before. And of course he can help you out in golems and stuff like that. Like, he makes B9 a joke. You can use him in dragons as long as he's hopefully shielded properly by other mons and not bad luck. But yeah, he makes a lot of content just a joke. So in this case, with all the nat 5s that you have, I would pull for Draka. But there's some of them, in my opinion, that I would keep. Like Hades, I didn't count Hades here because he's a light and dark nat 5. We talked about you maybe getting rid of your light Valk to feed into your Fire Valk. Once again, bad idea. Light and dark nat 5s are hard to come by, and you already have another one. I mean, you have your light Valk on the way, but you already have light Hades, and you're only level 39, bro. I didn't have a light or dark nat 5 until after my freaking light contract, I believe. But in terms of mons that I would keep, even if you do decide to sacrifice for Draka, I would definitely keep your Washu Jing. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. No, I got it mixed up. It's Sha Wu Jing. I would definitely keep your Water Sha, because obviously he has resist down, and with your PvP comp, which we're about to go into, you'll understand why I would keep him. You already have a Shiva, so I mean, Zu, Bao, Shiva can all go into Blender. Shinobi can go into Blender if you're not interested in Titans, which I don't believe you are at the moment, but you could hold on to him for now. Valk you can keep because you're sacrificing to your Fire Valk. Merla can go. All your woods can go, though I would maybe keep an eye on your other Wujing. That way you can only do 4 pulls, because you can feed him into your water one for PvP. But that's pretty much who I would sacrifice here. If you don't have any plans for Shiva, feel free to throw Shiva in there. I would hold on to Arthur for now. Obviously hold on to Fire Valk. Obviously hold on to Water Valk for now, because she can still be of use. Until, okay, once you get 3 Valks to Evo 3, your Fire Valk, use them then. Don't use them now, because she's going to be stuck at freaking Evo 2.2 and you're out of a decent water attacker for what you're trying to do right now. Once you get 3 Valks, work on getting them to Evo 2 and then feeding her them slowly, and hopefully you have a replacement for your Valk at that time. But don't feed them to her now. I repeat, don't do it now, because you can still use them for content. Once again, you could feed Gilgamesh in there as well, even though I would use them as a wave clearer for now until you get better mons. And if you really don't have any interest in Titans, feed your other Zubaji, but I personally would just keep her. Like, I would just keep her, dude. But you should be pretty good with 4 pulls, hopefully. even out of these mons, and hopefully with the festival or something, even with a Nat 5A, you can pull another mon to feed to Draka. So that addresses your Draka concern. In terms of PvP though, you do have a couple PvP mons that I wanted to point out here. We obviously saw your Light Yuki here, great mon for PvP. Light Leo, once again, great mon for PvP. Light Nike, not as good as she was before, but she's still darn solid, my boy. Still darn solid. So you already have 3 decently good mons. Like Light Leo, easily top tier stuff. So Light Yuki, easily top tier. Then you have Fire Valk as well. So you have Light Leo, Light Nike, Light Yuki, Fire Valk, and I believe we talked about your Dark Loki. Now, I honestly wouldn't use Dark Loki for PvP offense, for the simple fact that he's a tank and all he does is steal. But I would throw him on your defense because you can't go wrong with having a double stealer on defense, especially as a dark type. So you could invest in him in the future just to make him as tanky as possible, because there's not that many mons that you can use. So in terms of answering your question for Loki, build him at your leisure and just throw him on your defense. But for your offense team, what I would recommend is, let's go over here actually to the PvP screen. Oh, there's mons at the bottoms. I was freaking out. I was like, where are your other mons at, my dude? But let's see what we got here. Definitely Light Yuki, Light Leo. You could run Fire Valk, and oh yeah, Water Sha. That's the team I would run. I'm not a PvP expert. Remember, guys, I'm just a filthy casual. But I would throw in Water Sha here because Water Sha has not only steal but resistance down as well. And you have Light Leo doing stuns, you have Fire Valk doing stuns, you have Yuki doing double shock, and having a mon that can basically pierce the other mon's resist, even if it's not like Griffin, still good stuff. Like Water Sha, if you don't have like Griffin, Water Sha is just as good. Water Sha, I don't have one personally raised because I do have Light Griffin, but especially for your setup, dude, all kinds of gains. I don't predict much issue right now other than maybe resist issues with other mons with a team set up like this. So this is the comp I would use. Once again, I'm not a professional. This is unlicensed advice. So to any of my PvP boys out there, feel free to leave a comment below if you think Water Sha, Fire Valk, Light Yuki, and Light Leo would be a decent team for him. Maybe some tweaking right there, but I would definitely keep in Water Sha just for the simple fact that you have so many mons that can do CC, aka crowd control, which is stun and shock. Now for your defense team, I would not put Leo up there. You could maybe use Light Yuki as a hidden, but I wouldn't put her up there just for everyone to see. In this case, if you want to keep using your Shiva, you could throw Shiva up there, because what is his skills? He has Adrenaline. I mean, he's not going to be amazing, but if you want to use him, you could run him like that. You could keep Fire Valk up there. There's no issues with that whatsoever. Let's see if there's any other mons. You do have your Dark Loki, who is also in the box along with Sha, and maybe you can actually use Sha there. I'm not 100% sure, but something like this. Try to keep as many elements as you can, and obviously make some mons more, annoying as possible. So for your defense mons, you obviously want them with as high as resist as you can. But I'm kind of stuck here in terms of defense. I would definitely put in your Loki, and if you don't want to use your Shiva, maybe do Sura, Valk, Loki, and another mon, which I'm not really seeing right here. Maybe Wood Miho for now because you have nothing else, or perhaps Fire Sea Star if she's raised up during special season. Wood Miho the same thing, and then maybe Light Yuki as a hidden. I think that might work out as well, and maybe even Water Sha. Defense, I'm honestly not too sure about that, but those are just suggestions. Hopefully I can help you better when we talk on Discord. But that's pretty much it. I think I've addressed everything in the game. It seems like you shouldn't have too much issues with the game, in my opinion. And you also say that you have a Nat 5 selector card. So let me go over here and see if we can open it up, unless you... Okay, you do have it. So for your Nat 5 selector card, I would recommend Purse here, but you already have a Purse. You already have a water purse that you can get towards that you can work towards with the hero dungeon, so we can exit her out. If you're looking for Valks, maybe pick up another Valk and you can work on Evo 2ing her so you can feed her to your Fire Valk, which is a great idea. Other than that, I mean, there's honestly nothing in my opinion that stands out to me, because you're, like you stated before, you're not really interested in Titans. You could also pick up another Sha. So you could either do Valk and get her to Evo 3, or work towards getting Sha to Evo 3 as well. But in your case, since you're closer to getting Valk to Evo 3, I would say get your Valk to Evo 3. And then even if you keep Sha at Evo 2.1, Evo 2.2, at the end of the day, it's not a super big deal because you don't have a big focus on Titans. But the last bit of information I can leave you with is, if you don't have any interest in Titans now, but you think you will in the future, go ahead and use this Nat 5 selector card and get what you want, especially for Valk, since you want to concentrate on PvP more. But at least take your Sea Strikers and don't feed them. Just put them in the box if you don't want to use them, or it's not something that you want to get into right now. Put them into the box because it's hard getting Sea Strikers, especially when you first start up, and a lot of people want a lot of Sea Strikers there. And you may look back on this in a couple months and be like, wow, I shouldn't have fed my Zubaji. Wow, I shouldn't have fed my Wood Merlin because now I'm interested in Titans, but all of those mons are gone. That's pretty much all the information I can get you. But other than that, I would say, obviously, pull for Fire Draka. He's going to be very, very helpful in furthering your progress through the game. Obviously, work on your Fire Valk. Monas, switch him to triple attack for B8. Definitely get Light Leo up and definitely get Light Yuki up, because you could also definitely use Light Leo in a PvE situation, especially for stuff like Tower of Chaos. Even Light Yuki you can use for Tower of Chaos as well, and make it pretty much just a auto PvP team with Draka, Light Leo, Light Yuki / Fire Valk, which I would pick Fire Valk for CC purposes, and then Water Sha. But I honestly don't see much of an issue here. You have great pools of mons. By pools, I mean elements. And yeah, I definitely hope this answered most, if not all, your questions. If you have any more, feel free to leave a comment below or hit me up on Discord. If you guys want an account review done, you got to join the Discord and DM me, and we can set up a time to help you out. Make sure you're Google Play or Android, because I can't record videos with Apple because I don't have an iOS emulator or anything like that. But I can still help with your box at the very, very minimum. But if you guys like this video, make sure you like it. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit it, boys. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.